My dad went to prison for 5 years, but he did it to protect me from a monster. I was 19 when my dad finally told me what really happened. He had a few drinks in him, and I think after all the years, the weight of it just got too heavy. He looked at me across the kitchen table and said, I did 5 years, but I'd do 50 if it meant protecting you. That's how it started. Let me take you back. When I was a kid, my Uncle Jamie was my favorite person in the world. He was the fun uncle, the one who snuck me candy behind my mom's back, taught me how to skip rocks, and always made time to play catch even when the adults were too busy. He had this huge collection of paintball gear, dirt bikes, old radios. He was like a grown-up kid. I thought he was the coolest man alive. One summer afternoon, Uncle Jamie asked if I wanted to go on a little adventure with him. Just us. I was 7. I packed my little backpack with snacks and action figures. I remember my dad even helped me zip it up. He smiled and said, "You're gonna have fun. Jamie's got a knack for this kind of stuff." That was the last time my dad ever smiled when talking about his brother. Less than an hour later, the house exploded with chaos. I remember hearing a scream from downstairs, something raw and primal. My dad's voice, but not like I'd ever heard it before. Then came the crash. A door slammed so hard the wall shook. When I ran to the hallway, I saw a picture frame face down, glass shattered, and my dad was gone. He didn't come back that night or the next for weeks. My mom, bless her, told us he was out helping a friend who was in trouble. Something about work. I didn't understand, but I knew things weren't right, especially when Uncle Jamie stopped coming around too. We'd see him around town sometimes, at the gas station, outside the grocery store, but the second he saw us, especially if mom was there, he'd vanish. 9 months passed before dad came home. I remember jumping into his arms the second I saw him. We had a tiny welcome home party with cake and pizza, but something had changed. He wasn't the same. Something in him had gone quiet. She or the next for weeks. A week later, he sat us kids down. Uncle Jamie's not welcome anymore, he said. You're not to talk to him. If he tries to come near you, you run. We didn't ask why. Dad wasn't someone you questioned, but we trusted him. We knew something had happened. 2 years later, it almost happened again. I was 9, walking out of school when I saw a familiar face near the bike rack. Jamie, same goofy smile, same voice. Your dad and I patched things up, he said. He told me I could take you to that lake we used to talk about. Remember that? Something in me froze. I told him my dad said he wasn't safe, that I wasn't supposed to talk to him. His face twitched. That smile, so warm and familiar, briefly cracked, and beneath it was something cold, predatory. Before he could say another word, my dad's truck skidded into the parking lot like a scene out of a movie. He jumped out, no hesitation, just rage. He launched a punch that cracked Jamie's jaw. Blood, screams, teachers running out. Jamie hit the pavement and scrambled away like a rat. Dad chased him, but let him go. That night, Mom packed our things and told me we were staying at Grandma's for a while. I didn't know it then, but that was the day Dad disappeared again. Another 5 years. We didn't even get to say goodbye. Eventually, Mom told us he was in prison for assault. She said he had been protecting someone. She didn't say who, but I knew. The full story came years later. I was 19. He was back home, sober that night, but exhausted. And finally, he told me the truth. The day Jamie had asked to take me out, his wife, my Aunt Laura, had found a hidden stash of photographs buried in their crawl space. Horrible photos. Photos of children. She panicked. She didn't call the police. She called my dad. She was terrified of Jamie. Said he'd hurt her before. Said he'd threatened her life. So she didn't trust the system. My dad snapped. He drove to Jamie's house and broke down the door. Found him yelling, trying to grab the photos from Laura. Dad beat him senseless. When the cops came, Jamie spun the whole thing. Claimed self-defense. Laura was too afraid to talk. The pictures? Gone. Destroyed. There was no proof. Dad got convicted for assault. Jamie walked. And then, like the coward he was, Jamie came back. Tried to get me at school. That was his mistake. After that day, Dad tracked Jamie down again. This time, he told Laura, you need to stop covering for him. You have to choose. That's when she finally cracked. She showed Dad another stash of photos. Newer ones. He told her to take the kids and leave. Told her to wait an hour. Then he called the cops and waited. When Jamie came home, Dad was waiting for him. This time, it wasn't rage. It was vengeance. Deliberate. Controlled. He didn't scream. Didn't shout. He just ended it. The police found Jamie lying in a pool of his own blood. Evidence in the house confirmed everything. Dad was arrested again. This time, for manslaughter. His lawyer argued it was a protective breakdown. A father who had tried to go through the system once and been burned. This time, he couldn't risk it. He acted to protect his child. And this time, no one defended Jamie. Not his wife. Not his neighbors. No one. The court reduced the sentence. 5 years. 5 years behind bars for doing what any decent father would have done if the law had failed them once already. When Dad told me everything, his voice cracked. He didn't cry, just looked away and whispered, I missed too much of your life. I should have handled it differently. I told him no, you didn't miss my life. You saved it. He looked at me then, really looked. And for the first time since I was a child, he smiled. Not that polite, worn down smile, but something real. There are rules. And then there's what's right. My dad didn't choose violence. He chose justice. And if that meant 5 years in a cell to make sure that monster never touched another child again, then yeah, I think he made the right call.